with Mr. Youssef, and he is awesome. In case you didn't know, this is going to be so much fun. But he works over at WaterWorks Art Center on Charles Page Boulevard, where they have tons of different classes and stuff. And sculpting, I'm assuming, is probably one of them, but it's probably a lot more intense than what we're going to do today. But anyway, so we're so happy you're here, and we're just going to keep handing out the clay pieces. And yeah, we'll get started here in just a moment, okay? Thank you so much.
My name is Yusuf. I am an instructor, clay instructor. WaterWorks Art Center here in Tulsa. Probably one of the best things that happens to Tulsa is WaterWorks Art Center. A lot of creative minds come there and do various things. We offer varieties of classes there, pottery being a big deal there. A lot of people come there to do pottery and sculpting and stained glass, mosaics, watercolor, oil painting, drawing, etc. That I have a lot of stuff that has to do with creation. So if you've never been there, I think it's a good place to check out. Bring your kids, your friends, your sister, your husband, wife, bring them there and have fun. Today, I thought we'll do an angel. Because for me, I have a whole lot of angels in my life. Mostly they are all women, so I thank God for women every day. My mother, my sister, and I have my wife, and I have a lot of women in my life. They're my customers. 95% of my customers, I do these things. I do sculptures and clay and all sorts of stuff and take them to art festivals. 95% of my customers are women. So this is a tribute to all the women out there, angels. They protect me from a lot of stuff, guide my steps in a lot of ways. So hopefully we are all going to be able to come out with something to take home. This is Sculpt clay, and it's oil-based clay. I chose this particular something because the kind of clay that I use in the studio is a little bit more messy than this. So, but this is not so messy. You have paper towel there to wipe your hand if you start feeling like you're messy. But you should be able to take this home and put it in an oven. I guess you turn on the oven to about 250, a conventional oven, not microwave. So put it in the oven set your oven to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, I guess, and preheat it. Then put this on a plate or aluminum foil. Then let it cook for about 15 minutes. Then you let it cool down before you take it out. It should be hardened up, and it's still going to be a terracotta color like this. But you can put acrylic over it. You can paint it if you want to. Once you get it fired to that temperature, you can paint it. So that said, you should have a little block of clay in front of you. Kind of soften it down a little bit by just mushing it together, using the heat of your hand, kind of softens it. So we're going to soften it into a nice little log. Just keep on mushing it around. Sorry. Every time, I've been here for probably about 4 years, I guess, in a row. And last year was when they started this videotaping. So I'm still trying to get used to the videotaping. I remember last year, most of the program I did, I was up there talking and no picture was on the screen. So tells you how much I know about the YouTube generation. So hopefully I can do a little bit of a better job today. So I'm sitting down and trying to, hopefully, is this showing? Okay. All right. You soften it a little bit to a point. Then once you get to that point where it's nice and soft, cut it into half. Okay, you're going to just cut it up into 2 halves. All right? Everybody got that? So you put 1 half to the side for now. Then this other half, we're going to roll it into a nice little carrot. A nice little carrot. Something similar to that. All right? And you're going to pinch the bottom part of it just all the way around like that. So you have something of that kind. Did everybody see that? Okay. So you shape it to what you want. Whether you want to bend it a little bit, you can bend it slightly if you want to. And I need you to flatten it out just slightly. Flatten it out slightly, something of that kind. And elongate it slightly. All right. Now you're going to put it down and see if it stands. If it's falling down, then you need to make sure it's standing. And so in trying to create a piece, there's varieties of steps that you can take in making a piece. And also, in most cases, creating a piece of art, for me, as an adventure and constantly a problem-solving situation. So you're constantly solving problems as you're going along. If you don't think that's big enough, you can make it just, you can add a little bit bigger, but I think I'm all right with that size. Now, it could be a little bit bigger, it could be a little bit smaller. You are the artist. So I'm going to let you make it the way you want. Like I said, if you want to bend it forward or backward, you can do that. It could be just about anything that you want it to be. And you flatten it out to a point. Set that down to the side. On your half something, other half, cut it into 2 halves again. All right? Mush that down together nicely. And then you're going to form a heart out of it. After you've mushed it out nicely, turn it into a heart, pull one end that way, and pull the other end that way, and pull a tail for it. You are getting there already. So come back again and pull a little bit more on the sides, and pull a little bit more for a tail. Right. And you go back again, pull a little bit more to the sides. You're flattening it out as you are going along and turning it into a heart shape. Just like that. All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody still doing fine? Okay. I think I forgot to give you your tool also. I am very forgetful these days. Kind of scares me. And I'm not even 70 yet. I'm getting close to it, but I'm not 70 yet, so that's scaring me. I know when I got here this morning, I got here a little bit early than I'm supposed to because I forget things. Forget things. So when I got here, Cindy kind of looked at me and like, okay, what are you doing here? It's not time for you to be here. So she kind of sent me back out. So I went back out there and sat down. But yeah, being being of the mind that doesn't remember very much, it becomes very important for me if I'm supposed to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. Yes, please, thank you. If I'm supposed to be somewhere at 10 o'clock, I like to be there one hour ahead of time, just because I might forget. So I got here, I think on the something it says 10:40. I got here 10 o'clock. So she kind of looked at me like, okay, we have another class. We have another class going on right now. I said, okay, I'm sorry. But so I try to compensate for time with that, with being there ahead of time, way ahead of time. So I have enough time to settle down and get myself into the mindset of what I'm supposed to do. And also that time for me is everything. For some people, and if you're dealing with clay, if you start working with clay, time is everything. So some people say time is nothing. For me, time is everything, and I work very hard to be on time wherever I'm supposed to be. But usually, also, story of my life is that things are never just the way you want it to be every time. There's always going to be some challenges. And every time you're doing stuff, it's always a different challenge every time. Today, it seems like time was my challenge. Last year, it was that I ran out of clay in the middle of my program. So, and that's interesting. It's always constantly something else. For last year, I got here, and I was expecting 25 people for the program. And I brought enough clay for 25 people for the piece that I was going to work on. It turned out that I had 75 people. So, okay, that was a challenge. And I started sweating.
That's why we have pre-registrations now.
And I started sweating. I said, okay, what the hell am I going to do? So we had to change the program. So, but that's life. In life, there's always going to be challenges, and you adapt to be able to override the challenge. So you adapt. But anyway, you should have a heart, something that looks like this. I don't know. Does everybody have that? Yeah? So we're moving on to something else. We're going to take a piece, a little piece, a tiny little piece. We're going to take a tiny little piece of clay from the last half that we have there resting. So, and you're going to shape that into a little carrot, a tiny little carrot, something that looks like this. All right? You have that? Okay. Then turn that carrot so that you can pull a little tail for that carrot, something that looks like this. pull that tail. You can pull it long. You still have that there. Very long. All right. So, take another little piece, tiny little piece, about just that size, that size, okay? You have your little carrot sitting down there, and you have your little heart sitting down there. You have your big carrot standing up there. So now you have this tiny little piece, okay? Roll it into a nice little cylinder of some sort. Something of that kind. Can everybody see that? Okay, you can roll it into a nice little coil, something of that kind. Everybody's got that. Okay. Let's say that's going to be the neck. Okay? You put it on top of your big carrot and squish it down really good. Keep on squishing. Thank you. Squish it down real good. Squish, squish, squish. Okay? All right. Yeah, something of that kind, yes. Very good. All right. All right. How's everybody doing? All right, now do you still have your little teardrop? There? You still have it? So now, that's going to sit on top of that extension that you just did just now. And you can take your little wooden tool. This little wooden tool that you have in front of you. And you have something of this kind now. So you're going to blend this together. Can you all see that? Yeah? You're going to just use that stick to blend that together. Okay? And you have something similar to this. All right. And you can flare it out slightly on top. Flare the top out slightly, just like that. All right. Turn it this way. That way. This way. And this pointed part here is just going to be the part of the ponytail of the hair. That's all that's going to be. You can bend it down, or you can bend it up if you want to. You can roll it back up like that, whichever way you want to go with it. I like to go down with it. Okay? How's everybody doing? Huh? Everybody's still doing good? All right. Now, you can take your wooden tool again and put crease into that garment just by going and cutting a line into it, just like that. So you have a crease in the garment that she's wearing. And you can go all the way around, if that's what you want, or you can just do the front alone. So, can everybody still see what's going on? And that just puts crease on folds onto the garment that she's wearing. All right? Now, we're going to make the hand. My angel this time is a very slender angel. If you feel like you want to make yours bigger or more fleshy than what I have here, if you want to, like I said, in process of creation, you're constantly solving problems. So, and nothing is the same every time. Every time I make anything, it's never the same. So, because there's always, as we said, every breath is different from the next breath. So, I make a whole lot of pieces, but they're always different from the next one that I make. So, if you decide this is too skinny for me, I want a round angel. Just take another piece of clay, just a little piece of clay, and add it to the top of that and blend it together. So you have a little bit more flesh than what I was showing you earlier. So this is not a very skinny angel. You can even make it rounder and rounder if you want to. Most of it, for me, is try to enjoy yourself as you are doing it and try to learn something as you're doing it. So I've already just beefed up this sculpture just a little bit more than it was before, just by adding that little piece to it. And that little piece can become fabric if you want it to be. So many things that you can do. It can become fabric just by simply putting fold with this stick. I've already put creases to her skirt. Now I can go back to the top and just put a little crease around the neck. Just like that. Now, forgetting things is one thing for old people of age. Having a shaky hand too is another thing. So my hand is kind of moving around too much, but hopefully you are seeing what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm just putting another crease, but you don't have to do all that. But to make it fun, I'm going to put another crease up here, just slightly. All right. So now this is what I have going on. I don't know if you can see it. Am I too far away from the camera? Do I need to move back? Okay. All right. There you are. So, all right. Anyway, now the hands. Take a little piece of clay, about that size. Now, and also it all depends on how big your piece is. Sometimes you have to match kind of what size of a sculpture you're making with the piece that you're adding. So this is for the hand. So I'm going to roll this into a nice little coil, just like that. And I have that. And you can roll it some more. All right. And you have a little bit more length as you keep on rolling. All right. As at this point, you have about that length. I don't know if you have or not, but probably about 4 inches. Cut that into half, into two, about something similar to this. And take one of it, come to about the shoulder point, like that. There we are. And blend that together. And you can also use your stick to blend it. Blend it. All right. And you can blend this part also together. There we are. You can take the other half now to the other side and blend it also about to the shoulder. Now, this hand can be anywhere you want it to be. It can be up, like that. It can be down. It can be up like this, but pretending like she's holding something. So you flatten the top out slightly like that, just flatten the top out. And you might give it something to hold later, but it can be wherever you want it to be, there. And you take your tool again, your wooden tool, and you blend. Okay? Go to the back of it, blend it a little bit also. Can everybody still see what I'm doing? Yeah? Blend it. Just like that. All right? So you should have something of this kind going on now. I'm going to turn this all around. Okay? And let's set it down to C. Now you have that heart that you made earlier. At this point, you start trying to check it out. And you're sizing it out to figure out if it's too big or too small. That heart, the heart that you made earlier, I put it behind it just about like that. And now if it's too big, you can always reduce it. And you can reduce it simply, you can cut it into two if you want to. Here we go, just like this. If I feel like it's too big for my piece, it's not too big really, but if you feel like it's too big, you can always adjust. So I'm having something like this going on, but how you can just cut this into two if it's too big or too small. You just cut it into two, just like that, and just make another heart again, like we did earlier. And there we are. We're another heart, again, pull the bottom part of it. So if it's too big, if you figure out that that heart, the first heart you made is too big, you can always reduce it. And I've just half that. Now I can check this out and say, do I like that? I can still flatten it out some more. Okay, there we go. And you just flatten it out and keep on flattening it out. All right. Check it again. Make sure it's aligned in the way that you want it to align. You can bend it backward or forward, either way. So now I have something of this kind happening. Okay? And then you can start smoothing it out a little bit. Smoothing out the back so it's not so messy. Now, you don't have to reduce that first heart that you made. You don't have to reduce it if it's big enough or not too big for you. You can keep it like that if that's what you want. But if you feel like it's too big, you can always reduce. So, now, to really make sure that this is going to stick there and it's not going to fall out very easily, take your wooden tool again, all right, to make sure that this heart is going to stay. It's not going to fall off of it. You can go back to the back of your piece and kind of push or make holes like this along there. And what that does is get the clay to really marry each other, to be into each other very well. So that's not going to fall off. Now you can go back to those holes that you made and just blend it back in so it's there. And you can use your fingertip to do that too. And then you can adjust it whichever way you want. And if you really want to put a flair to it, you can pull the garment, pull the bottom of the garment one way, like that, so it kind of flowy. Set it back down to see if it stands. If it stands, then you're doing fine. If it doesn't, then adjust. And everything else I'm going to be doing to it is just refining, checking out for any crack somewhere where it's not very well attached, like something I'm seeing right here, right now. It shows me that that is not very well attached. So if you see any crack anywhere, go ahead and blend it in really nicely so it's not there, because that might be a weak point for it to fall off on your way back home. And you don't want it to fall off. Now, for this size of sculpture, I don't need to make nose and mouth and eyes and all that. But if you want to, you can. And to do that, take a tiny little pinch, something you can hardly even see. Tiny little pinch. Okay. And right there in front, about halfway of his head, you can adjust it. Push it down a little bit so it's not so big. Some people have big nose, Yusuf. Okay. And you can adjust it to the size that you want, just a nice little bump on the surface. 5 minutes, okay. So, anyway, there you go. About like that. And the head can be adjusted anyhow you want it. She can adjust up. She can turn sideways if you want it. Turn sideways, just like that. All right. So this piece can be taken home, like I said. Wrap it up in your paper, in the paper in front of you, I guess. Wipe your hands and preheat your oven to about 250 degrees, like I said, not microwave, conventional oven. So, and put it in there, either aluminum foil under it or a plate under it, and 15 minutes, then turn it off and let it cool down. And after it cools down, it should be hard enough for you to get out and play with it some more. All right? Thank you all for coming to this program. I have this on this table here. It's our catalog. I'm going to put it there. Take a picture of it. I brought some few of these cards. You can grab hold of it or take picture of it. It's very nice that we all have cell phones. Just take a picture of it, and it's on your record. Check us out. Come back and visit WaterWorks Art Center. Hopefully, have a lot of ways to have fun, make some new things if you do come on down there. Our summer art camp also is a very good time for people to bring kids to the studio to do stuff. So put us in your program. Thank you all for coming.